Do you think you're safe just because you've retired with enough in the bank? Think again, because the truth is, most retirees don't lose their wealth all at once. It doesn't vanish in a market crash or disappear after one big mistake. It slips away slowly, quietly, and almost invisibly through everyday habits that feel completely normal. You might think, I'm careful with money. I don't live extravagantly. But that's exactly the trap. What's actually draining your wealth isn't what you expect. It's not luxury vacations or risky investments, it's the little things, the comfortable routines, the emotional decisions, the subtle financial blind spots that sneak up on you and start bleeding your savings dry before you even realize it. And the worst part? These habits are so common, almost every retiree has at least a few. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on 7 retirement habits that silently, steadily drain your wealth without you noticing. If you've worked your whole life to build stability, this might be the most important thing you watch all year. Because once you spot these patterns, you can stop the leak and protect the financial freedom you spent decades earning. Let's get into it. You probably don't think twice about the small purchases you make throughout the week. A coffee here, a takeout lunch there, maybe a few clicks on an online deal that feels too good to pass up. It doesn't feel like spending in the traditional sense. It's routine, comfortable, harmless. But here's the truth. This kind of everyday autopilot is one of the most dangerous traps in retirement. Why? Because it's quiet. These tiny repetitive expenses, often under $10, fly under the radar. They don't trigger alarm bells. But add them up over a month, then a year, and suddenly you've lost thousands without a single big purchase. And it's not just about the money. It's about the habit. These kinds of daily decisions aren't driven by necessity, they're driven by emotion, boredom, or habit. It becomes second nature to reach for convenience, even when you don't really need it. Over time, this invisible spending starts eroding your budget. Not in a dramatic way, but in a slow, numbing drip. And by the time you notice, it's not just the money that's gone, it's your sense of control. Most retirees don't realize it until they're forced to downsize or cut back on things that actually matter. The real danger? These patterns feel normal. That's what makes them hard to catch and even harder to break. There's a powerful emotional pull that comes with staying in the home where you raised your family. The walls hold memories. The rooms still echo with moments you don't want to let go of. So you stay, even when it no longer makes financial sense. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Holding on to a large home in retirement can quietly drain your wealth in ways most people never calculate. Higher property taxes, rising utility bills, insurance, maintenance, unexpected repairs, they don't go away just because you're no longer working. And the older the house gets, the more expensive it becomes to keep everything running smoothly. You might think you're staying put to maintain stability or for the kids, or because moving feels like too much trouble. But while you're holding on emotionally, your savings are silently being siphoned away month after month. And what most retirees don't realize is that downsizing isn't about giving something up. It's about gaining freedom. Less overhead means more flexibility, fewer bills, more breathing room to enjoy the retirement you worked for instead of constantly funneling money into a house that no longer fits your life. It's not an easy decision, but the longer you delay it, the more it costs, not just financially, but emotionally. Because the real weight of a too big home isn't just in square footage. It's in what it takes from your future without you even noticing. It usually starts with good intentions. A little help here, a small transfer there. Maybe it's covering rent for a few months, co-signing a loan, or paying off a credit card just this once. But for many retirees, supporting adult children quietly becomes a permanent line item, and a dangerous one. You want to be generous. You want to be the safety net. After all, you worked hard to be in a position where you can help. But here's what no one likes to admit. Continually bailing out grown children can quietly sabotage your financial future and theirs. Every dollar you give away from your retirement fund is a dollar you may need later for healthcare, living expenses, or unexpected emergencies. And most retirees underestimate just how long they'll need their money to last. Even worse, constant financial support can create dependency, not just for your kids, but for you. You become emotionally tied to their struggles, and that pressure can cloud judgment. What started as a kind gesture slowly turns into a financial pattern that's hard to break. There's also the guilt. Saying no feels harsh. But here's the truth. Protecting your own stability isn't selfish, it's essential. If you run out of money in your 80s or 90s, who's going to support you? Setting boundaries doesn't mean you don't care. It means you're planning wisely for everyone's future. And often the most loving thing you can do is to let them stand on their own. You've probably noticed it. The grocery bill that used to be manageable suddenly feels inflated. The dinner out that used to cost $30 now hits closer to $50. And that's not just in your head. It's inflation creeping in quietly, steadily, and relentlessly. But here's the problem. Most retirees build their budgets as if prices will stay the same year after year. They assume that if $3,000 a month covered everything last year, it'll do the same this year and the next. That assumption is dangerous because inflation doesn't announce itself with a bang. It sneaks up. Little by little, the value of each dollar shrinks while your expenses slowly rise. And unless you're adjusting your spending plan regularly, you may not notice the shortfall until it's too late. What looks like just a little overspending starts to pile up. You dip into savings more often, withdraw just a bit more from your retirement account, and before long, you've chipped away at your safety cushion without realizing it. The most dangerous part? You're not doing anything wrong, just living your normal life. But the numbers are shifting underneath you, and if you don't adapt, the damage adds up fast. Retirement isn't static. Your money shouldn't be either. A budget that stays frozen in time is a budget that quietly fails, and for many retirees, that failure only becomes clear when options run out. After decades of working, the instinct to protect what you've saved is strong and understandable. You've built a nest egg, and now that you're no longer earning a paycheck, every dollar feels precious. So, many retirees shift their money into low-risk accounts, pull out of stocks completely, and stick with what feels safe. But here's the catch. Playing it too safe can quietly cost you more than any market dip ever could. When your investments are overly conservative, think savings accounts, CDs, or low-yield bonds, your money may not be growing fast enough to keep up with inflation. That means each year, the real value of your savings shrinks. Not because you're spending recklessly, but because your money isn't working for you. It's one of the most common blind spots in retirement. People assume that avoiding risk means avoiding loss. But avoiding growth is its own kind of loss, just slower and harder to spot until it's done real damage. The truth is, your money still needs to grow in retirement. Not aggressively, not recklessly, but strategically. A well-balanced portfolio that includes income-generating investments can keep your wealth working for you without exposing you to unnecessary risk. The goal isn't to gamble, it's to protect your future by avoiding the slow decay that comes from standing still. Because in today's economy, doing nothing with your money might be the riskiest move of all. At some point after retirement, many people stop tracking their spending altogether. No more budgets, no more spreadsheets, just the mindset of, I've earned this, I want to enjoy life now. And while that sounds freeing, it's also one of the most dangerous shifts that can happen. Because when you stop paying attention to where your money is going, you're not relieving stress, you're deferring it. You may feel like you're living within your means, but without visibility, small overages start piling up. You withdraw a little more than usual one month, and then again the next. Before long, your savings start to erode, and you don't even realize it's happening. The irony? Many retirees avoid budgeting because it feels stressful. But it's actually the lack of awareness that creates real stress. It just hits later and much harder. And it's not just about big expenses. Hidden fees, subscription renewals, interest charges, lifestyle creep, they all thrive in the dark. When you're not watching, these financial termites go to work, and by the time you notice, the damage is already deep. The fix isn't rigid budgeting or depriving yourself. It's simply staying aware, reviewing your expenses monthly, knowing where your money is going, understanding your burn rate, because the more you ignore your finances, the more power they have over you. And in retirement, control isn't about wealth, it's about clarity. There's a quiet belief that once you retire, your earning days are over, and that trying to make money again somehow means you failed at retirement. But that mindset is not only outdated, it's dangerous. Believing that retirement means you'll never earn again can trap you financially. It locks you into a fixed income mentality where every unexpected expense feels like a threat. And over time, that financial pressure builds, not because you're spending wildly, but because there's no new money coming in to balance things out. What most people don't realize is that even a small income stream in retirement can make a massive difference. A part-time consulting gig, selling a skill or craft, teaching, freelancing, renting out a room. Even a few $100s a month can slow down how fast you withdraw from your savings, extending the life of your nest egg by years. And beyond the financial boost, earning in retirement offers something just as valuable: purpose, routine, confidence, a sense that you're still in the game, still contributing, still growing. The real mistake isn't in retiring. It's in believing that retirement has to be the end of your financial creativity. In reality, it can be the start of a new, more flexible chapter, one where a little income adds a lot of freedom. Retirement isn't a finish line, it's a new playing field. And the habits you carry into it will quietly shape your future for better or worse. Most people imagine financial ruin comes from one big mistake: a market crash, a medical emergency, a failed investment. But more often, it's the slow, unnoticed habits that drain your wealth drop by drop. Staying in a house that costs too much, helping adult kids who should be standing on their own, ignoring inflation, playing it too safe with your money, avoiding your budget out of fear, or convincing yourself that earning again is off the table. Each of these habits might feel harmless, even responsible on the surface, but left unchecked, they chip away at your financial freedom, your confidence, and your options. The good news? Now you can see them. You know where the leaks are. And once you spot the pattern, you can start patching it one decision at a time. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. But if you change just one of these habits, you'll feel it, not just in your bank account, but in your peace of mind. Because real wealth in retirement isn't just about how much you've saved. It's about how long you can make it last and how freely you can live while it does.